Okay, so page 90. Kasva Taisvis. Parakam Sels Abed Zora. To Rashi Rabbeinu Tam Pasku. What's that? Is a Yud? Das Rabbeinu Tam. This is Yud. Das Rabbeinu in the Hargos Marai. Das Rabbeinu Tam. Shader Shlishis He Kodem Bazman Lachokim. I don't know. Let's see what that means. I'm not sure where I was reading was the proper place to read. So let me get out my copy here because anybody who may follow this on YouTube can follow on this screen. To me, it's almost illegible. So let's find it in here. It will be legible to me. Where is this? Concentrates parak of themselves about Kiluli. Tzarech Lomar. That is supposed to say to Rabbi Shimon, Pasak b'chol ikudarmi b'shegamara. Anytime it says ikudarmi this, ikudarmi that, helach achar machnu. Go after the machnu. So sovereign helach achar makel. Sorry. So sovereign achar achron, not after the makel. After the last one. In other words, the last one, the later one. Go follow the later. No, not the later one. The second one. Okay, so the ikodarmi, you have ikodarmi this, ikodarmi that. According to Rabbi Shimon, I assume that Rabbi Shimon, the Rashbam, who's the Baal Tosfos, you always go after the more severe, stringent one, and by the Raisa, the last ikodarmi. In other words, the assumption is the last ikodarmi is the more authoritative, unless it's a Yerushalmi. Unless it's saying that's still Raisa. Sorry, unless it's still Raisa. Rabbi Tam Pasak B'chulei B'cheinu B'sham Testi B'Maska B'Shel Torah B'Shabbos Taman Beis D'Yimaschainu whatever B'chol Ikad Amr Gemara B'Shel Torah Lechachar Machmir V'Rabbana L'Kula. So he agrees with Rashbam that if it's the Raisa, you go after the Machmir, but he differs to Rashbam. Rashbam if it's the Rabbanon, you go after the last Ikad Amr. Whereas according to Rabbi Tam, we go after the more lenient Ikadamri, which makes sense because Savid Rabban and Lakula and Ikadamri should be regarded as a something. The revolves that in any Ikadamri, the second Lashon is the inferior one. The antithesis of the Rashbam. And the first one is the primary one. So therefore, it's like the first opinion. Here that we have in parentheses, so I guess we don't read this, but let's see what the Bible says. Well, let's see. Okay, so he says here that in other words, it sounds like you go up to the second one. So there are a lot of that goes here. Let's see that goes here on the bottom. So the first we have from the Yavitz. The Yavitz says in Hey, oh, am I learning the right one? Is that Hey? Yeah. Below Yeshin there, Michal the Lishna Kama Ikar. Okay, so this is going like the Riva. Lishna Kama is primary. Then on a Rosh Pasak, goes Ben Aryeh. No, that goes right. The Riv, Riv says, that law is like Lishna Kama. Again, Perk Vav Simin Beis about Perk Av Simin Vav because Shema Rav Fasi Lishna Basra Ikar. That the primary is the Lishna Basra, the Chach Halacha, and I believe that that's where the Rambam holds. The Halacha is always like the Lishna Basra. Okay. And there's Vav in the Yavetz. Okay, that's composed the Basra Havi Chazara Mikama. He says, not like the Riva, but rather like the Rush, the second Ikadamri is a Chazara. It's not just a second possibility. It's reneging on the first one. Okay, the base solik, because that's how you conclude the sugya. The chashiv kemaskana, and that's how you conclude the sugya. That should be considered a conclusion.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we have back to the text. Rash, I guess again it's Rashba. The first Shulchan conversations bar. That makes sense. Wherever the Gemara, wherever it's possible for the Gemara to clarify which Ikad Amrei is the one the Gemara holds of, so we go after that. But what the Yavas just said is on the assumption that the Sugi ends with an Ikad Amrei. The Sugi ends Ikad Amrei. The Yavas is saying that's probably the last word. Since the last word, that's the way we should pass it. Okay. According to the what the Rashbam is saying, not necessarily arguing that. He's saying if you can tell for the Gemara, I guess either before or after, or probably after, which way the Gemara is going, so then you could pass them like that.
Okay.
So generally speaking, it's a fascinating machlokes. We have everything is up in the air when it comes to Ikadamres. And of course, when it's going to come down to our Halacha, it's going to be interesting. Differences among the poskim, I'm guessing, right? The Rambam always passes like the second Ikadam, right? Places not necessarily. So perhaps this manifests itself in some machlokes between the Mechaber and the Ramah, because the Mechaber will probably follow the Rambam in that respect, and the Ramah will probably follow the places. That's just speculation, but it's quite possible.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, next. Because of Mi Amigdal Oz, that's a commentary of the Rambam. Perek Dal Chayvel Mazik. In yeshivas, they look down on the Migdal Oz for some reason, and they go so far as to give it the ultimate insult that they say it must have been written by a woman. So I don't know why, but that's what they say. We have Messiah from our rabbis from ancient times. The Lashon Bais Ema, the Lashon Ikad Amrei, She Ikar. If you have an Ibais Ema, it follows the same principles as the Ikad Amrei. And then, according to the Rif and the Rambam, that would mean that the second Ikad Amrei is the primary one.
Okay.
I would assume that everybody who argues in the previous principle would argue similarly in this principle as well.
Okay.
Ayin Sham Behilchos Rosh Hashanah. I don't know. He's Kimo Arishonim. Where she smoke a Bavli. This is out of left field. Shonim Magid the Blind Bavli, please Rabbi Ravashi should see your Bavli. How you yoidim regiling be Yerushalmi. They knew the Yerushalmi. The Makab Mishkan Halacha, you call me a sub of Bavli. So we know that that's not necessarily true in the Rambam, because the Rambam often passes like the Yerushalmi over the Bavli, but and perhaps this is why they don't like the Migdalos. But the Migdalos asserts that, and this is what is commonly asserted in yeshivas, which is that the halachas of the Bavli Yerushalmi, because the Bavli saw the Yerushalmi. But it's clear that not everywhere does the Bavli see the Yerushalmi, and so he does not everywhere take into account. So therefore, there are places we find where the Rambam and others passing like the Yerushalmi over the Bavli. They're rare, but they occur. Okay. Because we've so pair call and Ishmael Kama, the whole book of the Leifska Gemara Hilchasa Badia, the Hilchasa Katana Kama. Well, I guess that's true about a Mishnah and a Brisa, obviously not true about a Gemara, but wherever we don't have an explicit psak in the Gemara, the halacha is like the Tana Kama. Wherever you have two Tanoim who argue as to what another Tana said in one Mishnah, halacha Tana Basra. The halacha is like the latter Tana. So Rishon ben Naruso. In other words, halacha is like the latter in chronologically. So we say Sharishim now. So the first Tana held what well, you have Tana, everyone, both people argue what did Tana A say. You have Tana 1 and Tana 2. Tana 1 and Tana 2 argue what Tana A said. Tana 1 was an older Tana, and Tana 2 was a younger Tana. Tana 1 heard from Tana A earlier in life. Tana 2 heard from Tana A later in life. Let's start again from Kol Heiche. So Kol Heiche, the plea trait Tana Liba the Chad, the Mishnah Achas. So you have Tana A, who was an older Tana, and Tana 1, and then you have two Tanoim, Tana 1 and Tana 2, who argue what did Tana A mean? Okay, what was he saying? And Tana 1 was older and Tana 2 was younger, presumably. But anyway, Tana 1 heard from Tana A earlier in life, earlier in Tana A's life, and Tana 2 heard from Tana A later in Tana A's life. So you go after the later one, because the later one probably heard the final version of what Tana A held. Okay, so as he says, Sharisha Abanaruso, Mashashana Tana. Tana 1 probably heard from Tana A when he was younger. But and Tana 2 probably heard from him when he was older. So therefore, the older way is the more his likely his permanent opinion. So you go after Tana 2, not after Tana 1. Okay. That's good to know. Whenever the Gemara brings down that we have a brayta which goes according to so and so, halacha is like so and so. Amar Tana Devei Rabbi Shmuel Kach Halacha. Amar Devei Rabbi Shmuel Devei Shmuel Tana Ein Halacha. Okay, that's fascinating. Let's say I guess where the word Tana comes first, it's more authoritative. If the word Tana comes at the end, it's not authoritative. So the Tana Devei Shmuel we pass that way, and the Devei Shmuel Tana we don't pass that way. Maybe at one that's going specifically. Tana is going specifically on cases with Rabbi Shmuel. Not with other Tanoim. I don't know why. Call the Tani Gabi Hilchos Absikta Halacha. What does it mean? Anything which says by Hilchos Absikta is Halacha. Come on, she's showing a Gemara Halacha Psuka. It says it's you bring down Halacha, which is known to be Halacha, and then you bring down another Halacha. So you learn at the same time as a halachas paskin another halacha. And that second halacha has nothing to do with the first halacha. So it must be that it's enumerated there, even though it's not relevant to the prior conversation, because just like we paskin in the first halacha, like A, right? Just like we paskin like the first halacha, we paskin like the second halacha. Called the time to be b'chirasa, anything which is mentioned in b'chirasa, the item Maseches Eduyos, halacha should post a kavase. Maseches Eduyos is considered to be the most authoritative Masechta in Mishnayos because it's all testimonies. So anything where which is, it says in Eduyos that that's halacha, we hold that that's halacha. That's the halacha. We call Edus halacha, and that's because any Edus is considered to be halacha. In other words, when somebody says a statement just as a statement, that's one thing. When somebody says a statement as a testimony, that's another thing. And we pass like that. Konhei Rabbi Pliny. Some say it's only an edus which comes after machlekes, kind of like resolves the machlekes, but it's time edus we wouldn't pass like. But I think we pass like any edus. Kol be'emes halachi. Anytime it says be'emes, I guess because truth would not be mentioned unless it's halacha. So anytime it says be'emes, that is the halacha. Okay, I think we'll stop here because I see there's a very long Ben Aryeh on the next one, a lot of Ben Aryehs, so it looks like it's going to be very complicated, so we'll leave it for next time. Looks like that's going to be a very controversial thing. Okay, very good. Okay, take care. Goodbye.